So we continue here at the Harris Seymour Walton Family Reunion. We have cousin Rodney Ruffin here from Herndon, Virginia. But these are your roots here in North Carolina, right?
These are kind of my roots in North Carolina. My father and John are first cousins.
All right, so tell us what an event like this means at your young, 35 years of age, coming back here to the roots, seeing these beautiful families. What does an event like this mean to you?
Well, you look and you see the older generation, you see the younger generation coming behind you, and you know that we're going to be okay. If you look at the mainstream media, events like this don't exist.
Sure.
And we know better than that. So being able to see all of us here loving one another in various pursuits, it fills my heart to see it.
So we were talking before the camera started rolling, and we have some things in common. You went to a little school called Hampton, Sydney that but maybe a few people heard about now, but tell us about where you're from, what got you to Hampton, Sydney, and then what you went on to do from there.
Well, I grew up in a little town called Winchester, Virginia.
Good old Winchester.
Heart of the Shenandoah Valley.
That's right.
And the superintendent of schools and the mayor and one other city father were all Hampton Sydney grads. So they pushed me toward Hampton Sydney, and I went down and fell in love with the place. Got a scholarship to go there, a merit scholarship, and went there for 4 years. Didn't realize it was in Prince Edward County, Virginia, and its old troubled history, but I knew it was a small, kind of nurturing environment. The fact that it was all male was not a plus, but I lived with it.
There were sister schools, though.
There were sister schools nearby, and so I did my 4 years there, graduated with a bachelor's in English, and then went to University of Virginia School of Law.
Wahoo, University of Virginia. So I'm going to shift gears. We were talking to someone a little earlier, and you mentioned being in the area in Winchester and then going to Hampton Sydney. There's a lot of history there, a lot of war history, a lot of revolutionary history. We were talking earlier, here in North Carolina, we've been dealing with some issues about statues, and you saw it happen in Charlottesville. We were just talking about that. Give me your opinion of what you think the statues represent, if they should stay or go or what have you. Take the floor, it's yours.
Okay. I think that we need to at least be honest about what the statues represent. I hear people say the statues represent our heritage. The problem with that argument from an historical perspective is those statues weren't erected in 1870. Civil War ended in 1865. Those statues were erected in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, less as a symbol of the Civil War and more as a symbol of the South will rise again from a standpoint of don't you dare try to vote. Don't you dare try to go to our schools. So I think what's been lost in this debate is that those statues, to me, represent less of heritage and more of trying to keep people down after the Civil War was over. And I think before we start debating whether or not those statues represent people's heritage and what heritage they represent, we ought to at least be honest about that. And I haven't heard that discussion as part and parcel of all of this. Personally, I find the statues offensive. I understand that people have heroes and all that, but again, I think if you're going to look at somebody and brand him a hero, I think we need to recognize what those statues were erected for.
And I would say with studying law, you probably somewhere near Constitution, people's rights, what things we're supposed to have written on paper that really are the parameters of what our humanity is and what our rights are. Is that, I don't know if you studied constitutional law, but it had to be a class you took 100 level, we the people, 100 level. Am I right?
Absolutely.
One thing, we could talk about statues that and things that separate us, but I'm a big fan of food. I'm a big fan of music, because wherever you go around the world, people's food, people's music has a way of bringing people together as opposed to separating.
Absolutely.
Now, we've been treated to some great food here today. I went back 3 times. I'm waiting to circle back around for the dessert portion. But I hear you got to contact and connect with the people who brought us this food. Tell us about it, please.
I am privileged to work for Thompson Hospitality, the largest minority-owned food service company in the world.
Nice.
Our chairman and president, Warren Thompson, was a year ahead of me at Hampton Sydney. So I've known him since I was 17 years old. Lesson to you younger folks out there, be nice to the people you go to school with, because you never know when you're going to wind up working for one of them.
That's
right. But we serve 25 historically black colleges and universities, among them Shaw University just down the road. And the good people at Shaw were kind enough to cater the food here. And I agree with you 100%. Food is a marvelous metaphor for diversity. Regardless of where we're from, we all eat. We all have a grandma's favorite recipe.
That's right.
And food kind of brings us together.
Well, I should have a plate because the mac and cheese, the fried chicken, the collard, it not only was a taste sensation, but the colors were just right. All the colors of the food were perfect. Fried chicken fried just right. I saw the ribs up there. Everything was colored perfect. The people who brought it were wonderful. If someone was interested in getting into the business that you do, just tell them, give our young people a direction as to how they could be doing what
Absolutely.
you do.
Well, I recruit on a lot of our college campuses, and a number of young people will say to me, well, I'm first generation college, and mom and dad didn't sweat and strain to put me in college so that I could go work in somebody's kitchen. My response to them is, I hear that, but I have a law degree, and trust me, you don't want me working in your kitchen, and I still work for this food service company.
That's right.
That aside, you can have a marvelous career in hospitality. Food service is a job, or hospitality is a job that's never going to get outsourced to India.
That's right.
It's never going to get replaced by a computer. You have to have people who are trained in hospitality, and you can have a marvelous career in it.
Well, as someone who cut their teeth in the hospitality business all throughout college and afterwards, I mean, I'm a front of the house guy, but I'm a kitchen rat, and I maybe shouldn't say. I like, you know what I'm saying? You know, I call it a gym
Like a
rat.
gym rat.
I like a gym rat. I like hanging out in the kitchen where the
Good for
action
you.
is and getting that flavor. So, I agree wholeheartedly. Food is a great place that brings us together. It can provide a great lifestyle, and always where there's food, there's a party, and there should be a good vibe, right?
Absolutely.
We appreciate you. Hey, we want to
Thank
stay
you.
in touch with you, keep knowing
Please
what's
do.
going on. If you're recruiting somewhere, post on TaJTalk.com. If you're going to be in the area, anything we need to know, use our platform. And any of your students in any of those colleges can use our platform also. TaJTalk.com.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.